defense counsel, members of the jury. The opening statements are meant to give you an idea about what this trial is about. Also, what the evidence is that we expect to bring to you. And I'll begin with this. October the 6th of 2021 was a Wednesday. It was a school day at Timberview High School in Arlington, Texas. And it was supposed to be a regular day of school. Until Timothy Simpkins arrived at 9 o'clock that morning for school. He went upstairs to the second floor to Ms. Altman's classroom where he was a student. And he had a loaded gun. Nobody knew it then. 15 minutes later, 3 people were shot in a mass shooting that he is responsible for. He shot 3 people. It took him 15 minutes to enter the classroom, and around 9:15, he left on his own accord and went to his sister's apartment with his gun. At no time during those 15 minutes did anybody else have a weapon or threaten him with any deadly force. So what happened in 15 minutes? Chaos. Chaos to the entire school. All of the teachers and all of the students went into lockdown. The officers that arrived were in mass. They did not know who did it. They didn't know where the shooter was. Students were huddled in locked classrooms, crying, trying to contact their parents. Teachers were afraid. So what happened in Miss Altman's classroom? At 9:11, another student arrived late, and that's Zach Selby. He was also a student in that classroom. These schoolrooms are kept locked for safety reasons. So he had to knock on the door. Ms. Altman let him in. And when he went in, he went straight to Timothy Simpkins, and a fight erupted. Timothy Simpkins saw him coming, and he stood up, and they began to fight. And the testimony will be that Zach Selby, although he was only 15, and this defendant was 18, was getting the best of him and was beating him up. The students were all still in the classroom. Some of them began to videotape. Mrs. Altman became very concerned because she could not stop that fight, and she opened her door and began to yell for help. This is the second floor, and it is full of classrooms. Teachers came to aid her. 2 of the teachers that came to aid her, one was Sarah Herrera, and another one was another coach who arrived later. But there were other teachers who were coming. The first teachers who arrived broke them up. Mrs. Herrera had a hold of Zach Selby. The other coach was holding Timothy Simpkins back. He had fallen during the assault, and you will hear that Zach Selby had hit him and maybe even stomped him with his foot. When that fight broke up, Timothy Simpkins jumped right back up. At this point, Mrs. Herrera has got her eyes on Selby, on Zach. He's like, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. It's over. Approximately 6 to 8 feet separated them. Mrs. Herrera turns, and he's got the gun that he has in his waistband, and it's a Glock. The kids see it. Chaos ensues because they start running. Even the coach, who was trying to hold him back, says, "Run, run, done." Mrs. Herrera sees the gun pointed at her and Zach. They both try to run. And she trips and she falls. And Zach gets shot one time, right then. People are running. It is very important what happens after that, because the shooting isn't over. He's not done. He's not finished. So as people are running out, another teacher gets shot. Another person, Mr. Calvin Pettit, who is 25 years old. He had been in the doorway and he turned to run. He shot him. Zach Selby is trying to run, and he makes it out into the hallway. The layout of the second floor is important to how this all happens. Mrs. Altman's class opens up to a T. So you can go straight forward, or you can, there's a hallway that way, there's a hallway to the right and to the left. And it's important when you hear about the rest of the shots. As he exits the classroom, he shoots again. And this time, he shoots straight forward, and there's a glass case at the end of the hallway. It breaks. There are students running that way that feel the bullet whiz by them. And we will show you the videotape of how close some of those students came to being another victim. None of them were hit. He turns his attention to the next hallway where Zach Selby has fallen and is crawling, trying to get to a stairwell, and he shoots again. This time, that bullet hits McNeely. She's 15. She's made it almost to the end of the hallway with one of the teachers trying to get her to exit. There are stairwells going down, and she gets hit in the left hip. Is Timothy finished? Oh no, he's not finished. He's intent on murdering Zach. So although Zach is on the floor, trying to crawl away, trying to make it to a stairwell, you will see a video of him pointing that gun at him, very steadily shooting him 2 more times. And then you will see a video of him taking that weapon and leaving. And getting into his Dodge Charger and going to his sister's home with his gun. It is a tragic, horrible scene at that school that is on lockdown for hours. At the end of this testimony, we're going to ask you to find him guilty of attempted capital murder.